Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We got a special guest on the line right now. Police officer that was recently fired and let go. We talked about his story the other morning on the Breakfast Club and asked to, speak to him so he can talk about what's going on. Jaquay Williams.
Jaquay. We should play a piece of Jaquay. We should play Jaquay's video right now so people have it fresh in their memory of who we're talking to.
Let's play it right now.
I am disgusted with the things that happened in Minneapolis. Period, point blank. Things could have went way different. At the end of the day, let's talk facts. The guy is on the ground. He's laying on his stomach. He have handcuffs on. It's 4 of y'all, 1 of him. 4 of y'all, 1 of him. Who has control of this situation? It's not much one person could do against 4 people. Now let's get deeper, right? As an officer, you are a first responder, right? So if in the midst of you trying to gain compliance, someone is hurt, you have to render aid. So somebody's saying, I can't breathe, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. You don't think to yourself and say, oh my gosh, this guy can't breathe. He might die. Let me render aid, right? Another point, other officers, if you're going to be an officer that's going to stand there and not help when things go wrong, come on, like you don't see that? That's the reason I got behind this badge, right? Because I want them officers that's afraid to step up, I want to be the one to step up. If I see wrong happening, wrong is not happening in my presence, right? I'm going to check it. And that's period.
Now, good morning, brother.
Good morning, King.
What's going on, King? What's going on?
First of all, I want to give you a round of applause,
Jersey,
man.
right?
Yeah, from Jersey.
What part?
What part?
North. So I was born in North, and I was raised in East Orange.
Oh, wow, okay. Well, listen, man, I want to give you a round of applause first and foremost, man, because, everybody always has these discussions about good cops and bad cops. And, if there are good cops, why do the good cops remain silent? And I got to salute you and give you a round of applause for not staying silent first and foremost, okay? So salute to you, King, for that.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that.
What made you speak out initially?
I was, at the time, a little backstory about it. At the time, I was on TikTok for about like a month at the time, right? And my following like shot through the roof. I was doing like little humor videos that you see the police officers do or whatnot, little voiceovers, with the humanize the badge tag and stuff like that. And towards the end of that month, the George Floyd thing happened. Right. And I've always been torn in between what's going on with our community and with the job, in a sense. Like sometimes I used to think like, guys, is this job really for me? Like I need to be on the opposite side with my people, but then I had people tell me like, you on the inside, we need you on the inside so you can, so you can be a role model from the inside. So what happened was the George Floyd thing happened. Everybody was talking to me about it, messaging me, and I was like, forget it. I'm gonna say my view on it, like my point. And I was in my patrol car. I just turned the camera on, and then it just came out. I didn't know it was going to do what it did, but I knew I was going to reach certain people because I was like, well, I got this platform now. It was like, I grew like 50,000 followers on TikTok in like 1 month. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to use this platform and I'm going to speak about stuff. And it's going to be different because it's going to be coming from a Black guy with a badge. So I put it out there, and then that was that.
Now, what made you want to become a police officer in the first place? You're from the Oranges in Newark. So what made you say, you know what, I want to be a police officer? So
it didn't click to me until the Trayvon Martin verdict. Right, because I'm from a place where we just hate police officers, right? We grow up being taught that, they don't treat us good and stuff like that or whatnot. But I had some police officers inside my high school, the SROs, the security resource officer, who was like father figures to us, came to our basketball games, did stuff like that. So I already had my own view on things, even though it was another view from my neighborhood being pushed on me too as well. So when the Trayvon Martin thing happened, I remember we was at my wife's father's, I think 50th birthday or something like that. And the verdict came out and oh boy, was found not guilty. So I'm hugging my wife, her 2 sisters, and her mother. Everybody's crying. I'm upset, I'm crying. I'm just like, we got to figure something out. I tell my wife, I'm like, I need to get on the inside so I can figure out, a way to stop them from doing the stuff, when the time comes or whatnot. Right. And that was my whole motive. I never dreamed to be a police officer. I never grew up like, that's what I want to do. Like, right. So it was like, I felt it was a need for me at that time. I was like, yo, I got to help my people. I could bridge the gap because I'm connected on this side. And then if I get over here behind that badge, I can be connected on this side. So I can bring them both together. So initially, that was the thing that made me want to become a police officer.
Right.
Absolutely. Now, the Greensboro PD.
Yeah.
Fired you.
Yeah.
Did they fire you over that video because they're saying they did it? Which was it?
Okay, so the video, they didn't fire me over the George Floyd video per se. The video only brought light to what was going on. Here's the backstory, right? On TikTok for a month, I'm posting up the humor videos and stuff like that. And then the George Floyd thing happened. I posted up the George Floyd video, right? It goes crazy. I get called to internal affairs. Internal affairs brings me upstairs. They telling me, look, don't post in your uniform. Mind you, I've been posting for a month, but I guess now that I was in front of everybody and people were talking, they were like, don't post in your uniform, take the videos down. So, and we're opening investigation into your social media, right? So I was like, okay. So I didn't delete the videos. I put the videos on private because I didn't know what was going to go on, right? And I wanted them, in case they try to push out a different type of narrative, I wanted to make sure that they was pushing out the right narrative. I wanted to keep the video so people could, have their own opinions. So what happened was I put the videos on private, right? By the time I walked out of internal affairs, within an hour, the Shade Room and a bunch of other places already hit me up and said that they, that they was posting the video and stuff like that or whatever. So the video was already out here. Mm-hmm. My videos on my page, I took down, put on private. So now the platform is growing. I'm still speaking also what I've been doing before I even had the badge, right? So I'm still talking about, social injustice and things like that. And then I released a video called Hello America. And when I released the video called Hello America, in the video, I'm in like a ripped shirt, fake blood, and like a rope around my neck. And I'm rapping about the racial injustice inside America, right? Mm-hmm. Never in the video did I say like, I hate white people or I hate cops or cops are bad, right? I was talking about how us as Black people are on a different spectrum in the world as, white people, which is a fact. Mm-hmm. So they didn't like it, right? After that, I goes on Termination Hall. And then when I speak on Termination Hall, I tell them, they ask me, why I want to be a police officer. And the one thing that they hovered on with the Termination Hall thing, was when I said that I wanted to get behind the badge to figure out what was going on in the inside to stop it. And they didn't like that because they didn't know which way to take it. Even though we had 3 interviews at IA, recorded conversations, and I told y'all exactly what I meant, right? So then, after that, they was like, the week after the George Floyd thing, they called me up there. They said, look, we put you on administrative leave. I said, okay. So they was like, so they took my gun and my badge, walked me downstairs or whatever, took my gun and my badge, put me inside like the records division. So I'm just sitting there at the desk, literally doing nothing for 2 months, right? Waiting on this hearing to come, to see what they was going to do. Fast forward to in 2 months, I get upstairs and then I sit down. It's the deputy chief, my direct captain, the captain of IA, my direct lieutenant, my direct sergeant, and the city of Greensboro human resource rep or something like that. Mm-hmm. So they asked me questions. They had like a transcript of the lyrics. I broke down the lyrics for them and everything like that or whatnot. To be honest, to be real with you, I felt like I did myself justice in there talking or whatnot. Like, I was like, well, maybe they understand where I was coming from because I didn't say anything derogatory, anything crazy or anything like that. But they sent me back up. So they was like, all right, let us deliberate. They deliberated for like an hour. I was sitting back upstairs to the IA office. Then I came back down and the deputy chief wasn't there. The chief was there. Now we just, in January 1st, we just started with a Black chief in Greensboro or whatnot. And every time I dealt with that chief, he's been a squared away guy. He's been straight. He's been good. Mm-hmm. He came in the office afterwards when they had the verdict, and he was like, all right, Mr. Williams, so we decided to terminate you per the deputy chief, because the deputy chief, white deputy chief, made the decision, right? And the chief, exactly. And the chief just came in there, and the chief, trusted him because that's his whatever. His colleague, he trusted him, and he was like, all right, well, this is what we're gonna do. So they terminated me for my social media, it was like 4 different charges. 2 of them was general conduct, right? The general conduct 1.5.1 says for Greensboro policy, it says do not post anything that will hinder or stop the mission of the Greensboro Police Department, right? Very vague, but you can obviously see where they're coming from.
Right.
So I didn't feel like I did that at all, right? Then also it had something up there for abuse of power, right? So when they broke down the abuse of power, they said, well, when it seems like after you retrieve the platform, you release t-shirts. And I was like, if y'all been watching my social media, like y'all said y'all been watching my social media, I've been releasing t-shirts forever. It's different now because I have a platform. So, you
had a fashion line you started.
Yeah, exactly, right? So I told them, I said, it's crazy because at the end of the day, before this even happened, I've been releasing t-shirts. I was just 2 years ago, before I was a police officer, out at the Grammys with a bunch of t-shirts with the same fashion line. That design was did a year ago, right? I just was, I just so happened to put it out at the correct time. So anyway, so they had me abuse of power with whatever funds that you made from that off of the badge or whatnot. And then they basically sustained everything. It was like, we found you guilty on this, and guilty on that. And I was like, everything stemmed from my social media. The George Floyd video only put my social media on, basically on their, on the target board so they can look into me. But with the music and stuff like that, I've been putting out videos like that forever. Y'all went through my social media last year when y'all was hiring me in an extensive 4 or 5 hour interview. I gave you all my passwords and you said nothing before. But now it's different, so.
You know what pisses me off about this, man? I guarantee you that you could go through that department and find police officers who have done way more egregious things.
Absolutely.
Probably hurt people, probably, shot people on the job. Whatever it was, I bet you they didn't get terminated. You know what I'm saying?
Is that the case? Is that the case? Are there other officers that's done worse and done the same?
So I wouldn't say worse, but I would say the same caliber of what I did. Like, and when they terminated me, I was like, that's super harsh. Like that, you ain't give me no write-up, you ain't got no paper trail, you just was like, forget it, you out the door. Like, but they kept asking me inside that interview, that little hearing, it was like, I think they felt like they couldn't restrict my speech at all. They're like, he's going to talk no matter what. So the best way to do is let him talk outside of the badge. Let's not have him so we can deal with, have a PR nightmare. But you got a PR nightmare now because you went the wrong way with it. So,
I don't understand the blue wall of silence. I really don't. Because what we want as a community is to hear from other police officers that's not the way shit should be. You know what I mean? That's how you strengthen the relationship between the community and police officers, by hearing other police officers say, that's wrong, what happened over there. At least it lets me know, all right, I guess mistakes get made sometimes. It's not, it's just bad apples. It's not the whole bunch. I don't get it.
Exactly. So with that, that's another thing too, right? They know that I wasn't I have never, so mind you, I've been there a year, right? I never seen anything like the blue wall of silence and whatnot, right? You always hear about it and stuff like that, but me personally, I never been out and dealt with it, firsthand. They knew from the beginning I was vocal. I was the guy that they chose to give the speech at the graduation, right? So, and I was the guy that once I graduated, when a new academy class in, the academy training staff said, let's get Williams back here to speak to this academy class. So they already knew that my voice could travel and what my voice could do and things like that. I just felt like, I feel like they kind of like behind the times. They kept saying like, well, what if the civilians of Greensboro feel like when you deal with a white person, they're not gonna get a fair shake? I'm like, how are you getting that from anything that I said? Like, that has nothing to do with nothing. And I told them, I was like, at the end of the day, everything is opinionated. You feel me? So if you have an officer, a female officer that does fitness, right? She posts in her uniform all the time. But then the next day she posts in the bathing suit. How are the conservatives of Greensboro going to feel about that? It's opinionated, right? It's their opinion. Like, so you decide to terminate me for barely even crossing the line, right? But I just think, they just felt like his voice is just, his voice is too strong. And mind you, in none of the videos, you never knew where I worked at. unless because I've only been in Greensboro for about like a year and a half. So you don't really know me down here either. So you don't know where I work at unless you was another officer. And I think an officer complained on me. And then that's how it went from there. Because when I went to IA, I remember the sergeant, like, he showed me a paper vaguely. He was like, oh, here's the article that says that you're a Greensboro officer. And I'm like, don't nobody know that. Everybody's finding out now. I'm speaking to reporters and everything now. They're like, we didn't know you was in Greensboro. Greensboro reported. So where you get the article from?
So can you go to another, can you work at another precinct or another state, or is it when you're fired? And what's next for you?
So right now, I've had a ton of like job offers and things like that or whatever.
Police?
Yeah, from different police departments. Yep.
Wow.
Because they followed it since the first time, and they look the videos out there. That's the good thing. It's the good thing that I kept the video so you can see and have your own opinion, right? Everybody feels like Greensboro was too harsh and things like that. Jobs been offering me, different positions and stuff like that. But right now, where I'm at with it, I want to move further just to see if I feel like they didn't have the right to do it, but I want to move further to see for sure that they didn't have the right to do it. Not only that, I want to be able to be the voice for them other officers, because I came to the academy with a couple of other Black officers. They want to talk too, but they're like, well, that just happened to him. I'm not about to go out here talking this out loud. My vision was always bigger and different to touch the people in a different way or whatever. So my plan is not to go back to a police department. I plan on fighting this from the outside and helping other people, get a chance to basically talk and things like that, while still helping the youth and other adults of the Black community bridge the gap with police. Because I played both sides. I was born for this side, but I went and worked on this side. So now I kind of got that, that little gray area where I can bring them together, like anything, like teaching classes and stuff like that, just to have them feel more comfortable with the police. Because just 2015, I wasn't comfortable with the police. And then fast forward 2019, I had a badge on, right? It was, it's different.
How comfortable were you after how was it after when George Floyd passed? And I mean, people were throwing things at police officers, screaming at police officers, yelling, spitting, and how difficult was it during those times?
So with me, I work in a predominantly Black area, and every time they would drive by, the most I got, they just would throw up their fists and stuff like that. And that's another thing too, because I would do it back, and you got other officers around. It probably was like, like what is he doing or whatever the case is. But they never called me, said something crazy to me or anything like that or whatever. My area kind of knew me in that year, so they were kind of like, all right, that's Williams. He cool. Like, he gonna come out here. He gonna play around with the kids. He gonna come kick it with us while we just sitting on the porch. Because that's how I was, right? I'll pull up, or like when they put the social gathering things into place, I'll pull up on the social gathering and I'll be like, look, they complaining on y'all. So I want y'all to, be easy. Don't be making too much noise or whatever. Don't do nothing that'll bring us back out here. I always shot straight with people. And that's one thing that I set as a bar for myself, like always shoot straight, because at the end of the day, I empathize with them because that they are me. Like, I grew up doing the same thing and, and being around the same people and stuff like that. In the police department, I think they kind of didn't like that either, because I said on Tamara Hall, I said that white officers need to educate themselves so they can empathize with the Black community. And that's a fact. That's not a lie, that's a fact. If you know somebody's story, then you're gonna feel a certain way about that person, and then you're gonna move forward differently than what you would have moved without knowing their story. So
you just mentioned one thing. You said that white people need to know the Black community more, white officers. What else do you think needs to change within police departments to put police brutality and racially driven offenses to a stop?
I feel like the whole, a lot of the system, really, because everything is systematic. So you got these hungry officers coming out the academy, and I've graduated the academy with some white officers that are some good guys, right? Their views, decent views and stuff like that. But you got the older people who are stuck in their ways and stuff like that. And then nobody holds them accountable for being stuck in their ways. So the system becomes broken over and over and over, right? And then it only trickles down to the newer generation of officers, because you get into a training car with a training officer who's been there 15 years and he's jaded as all hell. And then he telling you this how you do it and this what you should do, and don't really listen to this person's story because I've been out here 4 times to this house on this call and they just crying wolf, stuff like that, right? You know, so it's the whole system that I feel like that needs to change, right?
So would you ever be willing to go back to work for the GP if they offered to let you come back?
Negative.
So you're over that?
Yeah, right now that's where I feel. Right now that's how I feel negative. You didn't think well enough to think that I could have been beneficial to the department. You did away with me and didn't know that whatever in the future was happening was going to happen. Like, no, negative. You should have. And this is the thing that pained me so much. I had a black sergeant investigator in IA, right? A black captain in IA, right? Black lieutenant, direct lieutenant, black direct captain, and black Hispanic sergeant, right? Granted, I wasn't in there when they was deliberating, so I don't know if they fought for me or not. Mm-hmm. Fought for me enough. I mean, granted, it took an hour, so I was like, well, they must be going back and forth down there. So I don't know if they fought for me or not. But as a young black man coming up in this type of environment with a mission to help our community, you should have pulled me to the side and was like, and gave me an outlook like, all right, look, little brother, this was going to go on, right? Mm-hmm. This was going to happen. I'm going to try my best to do nothing. You just, like I said, granted, I don't know if they fought or not, but you just basically, in my eyes, just sat there and did you speak with me at all? Did you just take down what they handed and was like, all right, well, we going, you know, like the vibe was, once they did it, the vibe was very different when I had to go upstairs and sign my papers and stuff. Like the vibe was real off. Like, and I'm like, y'all just was quote unquote in my corner. It wasn't like that, you know, but.
Right. Well, you know, Jaquay, man, I don't think there is a wrong way to do the right thing. And what you did by letting everyone know that what happened in the George Floyd situation, you being a police officer and letting people know that's not how officers should get down, I absolutely think that was the right thing. I think it was very honorable, and I think you should be rewarded for that. And I know you have a GoFundMe page, and you're trying to raise some money. What you trying to raise money for?
Just for anything what the future holds, man. You know, so I'm raising a family and stuff like that. Just anything, whatever the future has in store for me. You know, I've been talking to a couple of legal people and stuff like that. So I mean, just whatever the future has in store for me. You know.
Well, give me your uncle. If you go to his Instagram, it got to be a.
Yo, it's in my Instagram. It's in my.
Okay, what's your Instagram?
Give me your Instagram.
So my Instagram is at Wolfgang Jock, WOLFGANGJOC, all together at Wolfgang Jock.
Wolfgang Jock. Okay, I got that. Wolfgang Jock. All right, I'm following you right now. Okay, I'm looking. All right, the GoFundMe link is in the bio. So everybody go to his Instagram. It's Wolfgang Jock, WOLFGANGJOC, Wolfgang Jock. His GoFundMe is in his Instagram. We're gonna post the GoFundMe on Breakfast Club AM Twitter page and some other places. And I'm gonna make a donation myself, my brother. Oh, damn, you raised 39 grand already.
39 grand.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
The support is out here.
So let's try to just put some more on top of that, man. Because once, like I said, there's no wrong way to do the right thing. And what you did was very honorable. And we need more police officers like yourself speaking up. When they see wrongdoings happening, whether they work in the department or not, man. So thank you,
I appreciate you guys.
Thank you, brother. Jaquay Williams at the Breakfast Club. Good morning.